Have you ever stopped to ask yourself how much you're reading? And when I mean reading short form or long form. Hey, it's another Mornings with Mark, and I was at a networking event this morning. Networking in the midst of COVID? Yeah, we were. We all had our masks on and so forth. And it was very interesting. I was involved in a number of conversations. And a couple people said, man, how did you know about my industry? I said, well, I don't know. I just know about it. Yesterday, I was talking on the phone with the head of a speakers bureau. And he was asking me, he says, hey, Mark, what's the current book you've been reading? What have you been reading? And I share with him. And I said, do you ask a lot of people who you're going to book that question? He said, yes, I do. I ask everyone. And he said, it's amazing the number of people who don't have an answer. Wow, that kind of struck me. You know, it's kind of interesting, but I've always prided myself on reading. And when I mean reading, not just short form reading, but long form reading. Short form reading, what's short form reading? That's internet articles. Articles you read on websites. It was the old magazine. It was the old newspaper you used to read. Long form is books. And it's interesting, but I've caught myself the last couple of months as we've been sitting here in COVID. I haven't been doing enough long form reading. I have not. And I noticed beside my desk, there must be a stack of probably 15 to 20 books that I've told people, I said, I'm going to read it. And because I know a lot of author friends, and they send me books, and they say, Mark, would you write me a review? Well, I'm never going to write a review unless I've read the book. Wow. I got a lot of reading to do. And it kind of struck me as this. I'm not spending enough time doing long form reading. I pride myself on long form reading because that's what helps, I think, allow me to have a deeper conversation with people. I do short form reading because that just gives me a broad cross section. Like this morning, this networking event I was at, I was able to kind of, ask some questions that are kind of relevant to the industry that people are working in and so forth. So that was really cool. That was good. But it wasn't like I know the industry. But then it challenged me on something that I remember years ago reading. Yes, reading. It said, spend 30 minutes a day reading on your industry for 30 days and you'll become an expert. Well, it actually began, read 30 minutes a day for 6 months or 2 years. Well, screw it. I don't think any of us have time. But more importantly, the reason I say 30 days is because very few people are doing that. Very few people are doing that. And I'm challenging myself this weekend and going forward to get back into long form reading and be spending minimally 30 minutes a day reading. That does not include short form reading. That's different. That's separate. I'm talking long form reading. I'm reading books and really digging in and trying to understand and learn. You see, I think that's how we really begin. Because then what happens is we become more valuable to the people we come in contact with. We're able to have more conversations. Last night on the phone, I was on a board, and 2 members of the board are physicians. And they got talking, kind of a side discussion, and I was able to jump in with it. And a couple people looked at me like, wow. Well, it's just because I've had a chance to do enough reading. You see, knowledge opens up a tremendous amount of doors for us. It's just something that's really struck me. And I'm going to conclude by Warren Buffett's sidekick. Warren Buffett just turned 90. I live in Omaha. He lives in. And his sidekick is 97 years of age. A few years ago, they were being interviewed. And the question was, what are you reading? And the books they called out were unbelievable. It's like, wait, hold it. These guys are in their 90s. These guys are in their 80s. Well, they don't need to be but they said, well, I've just never have learned enough. Wow. Man, do we need to be learning more? Do we need to be reading more? I'm going to challenge myself to be reading more. Not to become arrogant, not to become cocky, but to be able to be a person of interest. That I can have a conversation with somebody. And not to control it. No, I don't want to control the conversation. But I want to be able to engage with them and have them share with me, because that way then I leave the conversation having learned something more. You see, the knowledge I read turns into a conversation, which allows me to really learn even more. Yeah, that's my Mornings with Mark. I'm Mark Hunter. Take care.